Welcome to Sportpen.
Great to be diving in.
Pelé.
Yeah.
I mean, even saying the name, it just feels significant, doesn't it?
It really does. It resonates beyond just football.
Totally. And today, we're not just, listing his goals or trophies. We want to get into the making of the legend.
Right. What were those key moments? What was the engine driving him?
Exactly. That relentless determination, those performances that didn't just win matches, but kind of shifted how people saw the game itself.
Yeah. How do you go from talented kid to the global icon? That's the journey we're tracing. How he really rewrote the definition of sporting greatness.
Okay, so let's start at the beginning. Brazil. Football, there isn't just a sport, is it?
Oh, definitely not.
Okay.
It's woven into the fabric of the culture, like deep.
I've heard it said that during a World Cup match, the whole country just stops, like a national holiday almost.
That's pretty accurate, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's a shared passion, a unifying thing. And that's the world Pelé grew up in Bauru. That intense love for the game was everywhere.
Right. It was the air he breathed, basically. And apparently he breathed it pretty deeply from a young age.
He was obsessed, by all accounts.
Yeah, maybe even letting schoolwork slide a bit. Which, happens.
Happens when football calls.
Mm.
And his father, Dondinho, being a former player himself, that must have been a huge influence.
It's almost like it was predestined in his blood.
Well, that passion, that early focus, you see that a lot with top athletes.
Yeah.
But talent needs shaping.
Right. Okay.
And that's where Waldemar de Brito comes in, a big name, played in the World Cup.
He coached Pelé in the juniors at Bauru Athletic Club, the BAC, and this seems like a really, really pivotal moment.
Absolutely a turning point. De Brito wasn't just letting him run wild with talent.
No, he drilled technique, discipline, the foundations.
And look at the results. BAC juniors become regional champs. Pelé as the main striker.
Yeah.
The numbers are just staggering.
I know, 148 goals in 33 games. He was only 14.
It's almost unbelievable. Comic book stuff.
Seriously. And De Brito saw it. He apparently said, quite confidently,
that Pelé would become the best football player in the world.
Yeah. Imagine hearing that about a 14-year-old. Did people think he was crazy?
Maybe. Or maybe he just knew. He saw that spark, that something extra.
Oh, he clearly believed it enough to act on it, taking a 15-year-old Pelé off for a trial at Santos Football Club.
That's the next big step, isn't it? Moving from local hero to, well, the path to Santos.
A path that led pretty quickly to the world stage. And that brings us to Sweden, 1958.
The 58 World Cup. You have to picture the context for Brazil.
The shadow of 1950, the Maracanazo, losing the final at home.
It was more than a loss. It was a national trauma. So the pressure in 58 was immense. They had to win.
And then first hurdle in the final against Sweden, they lose the coin toss.
Right. Have to wear the blue away kit, not the famous yellow. Not ideal for the superstitious fans back home, I bet.
Not at all. And Pelé hits the post early on, too. Bit nervy.
Could have been. But then Vavas steps up. Bang, bang. 2 goals.
Phew. Okay, Brazil leads, but then Pelé, just 17 years old.
He just takes over the final. It's extraordinary.
That goal, everyone talks about that goal, where he flicks it over the defender.
Yeah, chests it down, flicks it over the guy's head.
And then volleys it in. It's just the audacity, the skill at 17 in a World Cup final.
It's pure magic. A moment that instantly defines him on the world stage.
And it wasn't just Brazilians who were stunned. Sig Parling, the Swedish player.
This quote is amazing. After the 5th goal, even I wanted to cheer for him.
That says everything, doesn't it? When your opponent feels like cheering for you.
It transcends rivalry. It's just appreciation for brilliance. Brazil win 5-2, their first World Cup.
And they did it with this incredible style, the jogo bonito, the beautiful game, and Pelé was right at the heart of it.
A star is well and truly born.
So this kid explodes onto the scene. It makes you think, what is greatness? It can't just be talent alone, surely.
No, it's rarely just talent. We talk about genius, but it's usually that talent combined with unbelievable amounts of work, preparation.
Discipline, effort, persistence, all that stuff.
Exactly. And the stories about Pelé reflect that, don't they?
Yeah, staying behind after training, practicing free kicks, practicing headers, while the other guys were, heading off.
That extra mile, that dedication is what separates the very good from the truly legendary.
And physically, he seemed to have it all. 2 good feet.
Incredible leap, great in the air.
Quickness, power, skill, balance.
Vision. Seeing things others didn't. He was just so complete.
Bobby Moore, who knew a thing or two about defending, he said Pelé was the most complete player he'd ever seen.
High praise from a legend like Moore.
He said He had everything. He was the greatest because he could do anything and everything on a football pitch. Hard to argue with that.
No, you really can't. And his impact, it went way beyond just winning games for Brazil or Santos.
Absolutely. He became this huge symbol for Brazil, didn't he? National pride.
He put Brazil on the map in a new way, globally. Gave the country a hero everyone could unite behind.
And we have to talk about the social dimension, too, especially for Black Brazilians at that time.
Critically important. In a society with deep-seated racial issues, his success was incredibly powerful.
It offered hope, right? A sense that barriers could be broken.
Exactly. There's a quote from Silvana Aparecida Alves Souza Cruz. We began to have hope because of Pelé. We saw people like us could also succeed. That's profound.
It really is. And Mario Filho noted how Pelé embraced who he was, became this national icon, and helped challenge those prejudices just by being brilliant.
His success forced people to reconsider their biases.
Yeah.
An icon in every sense.
So after 58, the success just kept coming with Santos FC.
He turned Santos into like a global brand. They toured the world playing exhibition matches. They were superstars.
And more World Cups with Brazil, obviously. We won't detail every single match now, but those victories just added layers to the legend.
Absolutely. 3 World Cups is, well, it's the benchmark.
And the respect from his peers, his rivals, it's just universal.
You read the quotes.
Yeah.
Beckenbauer, Cruyff, Di Stefano, Fontaine, Bobby Charlton.
Gatti, the goalkeeper. They all basically say the same thing. He was on another level.
Then there's Tarcisio Burnich, the Italian defender before the 1970 final.
Oh, yeah, the classic. I told myself before the game, he's made of skin and bones just like everyone else.
But I was wrong. It's almost funny, his realization.
It captures the feeling he inspired. And Costa Pereira, the Benfica keeper, after Santos beat them.
That quote is incredible, too. I arrived hoping to stop a great man, but I went away convinced I had been undone by someone who was not born on the same planet as the rest of us.
Not born on the same planet. Wow. That's the kind of awe he generated.
It speaks volumes about the perception of his talent at the time. It seemed almost otherworldly.
Even towards the end of his playing days, that move to the New York Cosmos in '75. That wasn't just winding down, was it?
No, it was a huge deal, a mission almost, to try and ignite soccer in the U.S.
A massive cultural moment, using his star power for the game itself.
He transcended sport. He was a global phenomenon. People everywhere knew Pelé, identified with his journey from poverty to superstardom.
Which brings us to that debate that always comes up. How do you compare him to, say, Messi or Ronaldo today?
The eternal question. And honestly, it's so difficult, maybe impossible.
Game's changed so much, hasn't it?
Completely. The athleticism, the tactics, the pitches, the boots, sports science, everything's different.
So comparing stats or even styles feels a bit pointless sometimes.
I tend to think so. You risk taking players out of their context. Maybe the best way is to appreciate each great for what they achieved in their era.
Right. Judge them against the standards and challenges of their own time. And in his time, Pelé was revolutionary.
Undeniably. His cultural impact alone is immense, maybe like Muhammad Ali's in boxing. He changed the perception of the sport.
And those 3 World Cups, you just can't argue with that record on the biggest stage. It's a huge part of his claim to being the greatest.
It has to be. Sustained dominance at that level is incredibly rare.
And it's interesting, when you read Pelé's own thoughts, he often emphasized the simple things.
The fundamentals, yeah. Passing, heading, shooting, teamwork.
It's a good reminder that beneath all the magic, he understood the core elements of the game perfectly.
He knew individual brilliance had to serve the team. That's the mark of a true great.
So looking back across this whole journey, it's clear Pelé wasn't just born a legend, it was forged.
Through those pivotal moments, yes, but also through sheer hard work, that determination we talked about, and delivering those game-changing performances when it mattered most.
He didn't just reach the pinnacle, he reshaped what the pinnacle looked like. His influence on what we consider greatness in sports is undeniable.
And that legacy, that inspiration, still echoes today. He set a standard that athletes still aspire to.
Absolutely. His story continues to resonate.
A true giant of sport.
Thanks for listening to Sportpen.
It's been fascinating to revisit his story.
And maybe something for you to think about. Considering Pelé's huge impact both on and off the field, what kind of responsibilities do these truly iconic athletes carry beyond just playing their sport?